guys, it's Brianne and I'm here today to show you how to achieve this very soft, simple, smoky eye look. Keep in mind that you can totally change up the colors. I use brown shadows, but you could definitely use grays, purples, burgundies, anything like that. But if you want to see how to get this look, then please keep on watching. Okay, so first I already primed my eyelids with a MAC paint pot in Painterly. It's the best eye primer I've used, and it's about the same color as my skin tone. It really keeps your eyeshadows from creasing, so I always use this. So first I primed my eyes, and then next what we're gonna do is put on a transition shade. And I first was using, let me show you. Actually, it was from this. My sister gave it to me. She didn't want it, and I was using this color here, which is technically a bronzer, but as you can see, I'm almost out. So I'm actually going to use my NYX contour palette, and I'm going to use this color right here. And for a transition shade, that could be something that's the same color as your skin tone, or maybe a little bit warmer. There's lots of colors that you can do, but today we're going to go with just a little bit warmer. You could totally use a bronzer. So I just pick some up on somewhat of a fluffier brush. I tap off the excess, and then I just gently sweep that across my lid. And you do, kind of back and forth in big swoopy kind of windshield wiper motions. And I'm being really light-handed, and sometimes towards the outside, I'll just do kind of some round circular motions just to kind of blend it out and soften it. So I'll pick some up for my next eye, tap off the extra, and then I just go back and forth a bunch. And today I am going to be using brown colors, which is why I'm using kind of a bronzier color for a transition color. What would also be very pretty is a really light coral. That always looks fantastic as a transition shade because it kind of just makes all the other colors pop. But I'm just trying to do something that's really simple and easy, using colors that you would probably already have on hand, so you don't have to feel like you need to go out and get new makeup. Okay, so that was fast, that was easy. Next, what I'm going to do is do a light color on my lid, and this is CoverGirl, and it's called Champagne, and it's just a really pretty, it's light, it's sparkly, kind of frosty, and I actually will totally use like the little sponge that comes with it. If you don't have brushes, you can still achieve the look. It might be a tiny bit harder, but you can still totally do it. So what I do is I go ahead and I pat that on. I get a good amount of it on the little brush sponge here. I just tap that on. And what I actually will do, and it's okay if some gets a little higher, we can blend that out, is I will do 2 layers of it. I've always just done 2 layers just to get it nice and bright. Other side. And then what I do to just brighten up my eyes and kind of open them up a little bit, it'll take just a little bit, and I put it right on the inner corner on both sides. And sometimes, oh, I got a text. Sometimes I'll even put it, oh, sorry if you can hear that. My dogs are running around like crazy. My husband probably just got home. I'll put it just kind of down on the bottom lash line, right on the inner part, but I'll bring that over. Okay, and then what I'll do is I'll go back with that fluffy brush and just kind of blend a little bit between those 2 colors just to make it nice and soft. Okay, and then what I'm going to do is for the darker color, is I'm going to use just a dark matte brown color. I'm actually going to be using, this is from Wet n Wild. This is a Fergie color palette, and just drop my brush. These are the colors. So I'm going to be using this dark brown in the center. You can use many different colors with this. You could use a matte gray. This is a L'Oreal high intensity pigment shadow. So you could totally use this like matte gray color. You could use a purple. You could use a burgundy. There's lots of things that you can do. So I'm going to be using this matte brown color, and I'm going to go ahead and take, let's see, what brush do I want? I'm going to take this dome shaped brush, and I'm just going to dab it right in the middle a little bit, tap off the extra. That just makes sure that you don't get too much color on there because it's easier to build it up. It's harder to kind of take it away. So I just kind of sweep that right in the crease, focusing mostly on the outside of the eyelid, and you're just going to go back and forth and little circular motions. And you can, if you want, bring it all the way over. I'm going to stop it kind of just across the top there. But, so I'm going to do that back and forth. Phone call, sorry. And then I'm going to do that on the other side. Just go back and forth. And I am keeping this a more rounded look, which means that when I'm blending out my color, I'm keeping it really rounded like this. You could bring out the color up this way to make it more elongated, a little bit more cat eye, I guess you could say. But today I want to keep it more rounded. I have a client at work who mentions that she has very, very round eyes, and she doesn't know how to do her makeup in like a rounded look. She's never really done it. She's never really played with eye makeup. So I purposely thought, well, when I do this, I'm going to do it in a more rounded look so that she can see. But if she wants to change the shape of her eye, that's where you could just bring it up more on the outer, build up the color a little bit more on the outer part here, which I can do in another tutorial for you guys. Okay, blend that out. And sometimes I will take a fluffier brush, which you could totally use this fluffy one from earlier, and just kind of soften that. I picked up another one because I was thinking I was going to use that, but I don't think I will. I'll just use this original one. Just kind of blend that out. And this is going to be a really soft smoky eye look. But you can make this as dark as you want. You could, if you wanted to make this darker, you could either build up with more brown, just like right on the most inner part of the crease and the outer part of the eye. Or you could go ahead and now dip into like a darker brown or like a black to make it deeper. But I'm going to do that for right now. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring the brown onto this outer part of the eye. So you can do that with two ways. If you have a brush, you could use a brush and just go back in, tap off the extra because we can always add more. And I'm going to just do it kind of like on the outer third of my eyelid right here. And it's also good to tap off the extra so that you don't get lots of fallout. Fallout means that the powder, the eyeshadow, falls down onto your eye here. If that happens and you already have like your face makeup on like I do, you just get a big fluffy brush and just gently sweep it away. But with tapping off that extra will keep that from happening. So you can see I just brought that onto the outer third of my eye, and that was using a brush. If you don't have a brush, you could use a sponge. It might be a little bit harder for you. This has a little bit of a different color on it, so let me wipe it. I used this brush just the other day for a more bronzy color, so let me wipe that off. I'll just wipe it off on my hands. But you can use a brush. And so let's say you don't have brushes at all. So when you're doing this crease, you just do the same motions. Start on the outer so that most of your product gets off on the outer portion of your eye, and then work your way in. And then, oh, see how dark that is? That's okay though, because I'm going to do that back on the other side. Brushes just keep you from putting too much color on, so you can build it up slower. But don't worry. We'll blend that all out. So that's how you would use a sponge applicator, a sponge little, brush. I don't know what you want to call this. But, so now I'm going to do that on the other side. just to even it out a little bit more. And my lighting is, I got new lights, which is what I'm using today, but I also have a window right here. So I have a lot more light coming on this side of my face, but I was so excited to use my new lights. I wanted to use them instead of the natural light. Natural light is fantastic for filming, but I wanted to play with my new lights. So I'm just having a harder time, for me personally, deciphering if the darkness of the shadows are even on both sides, just because I have that light on the one side. There's a lot more light over here. But so now you can see that we have it on the outer third, and then I'm going to take that same applicator, get some color on there, and then I'm going to use it like eyeliner. So I'm just going to do, you can do it just on the outer third if you want. You can bring it in halfway. I usually stop halfway unless I'm doing a really, really smoky eye. This just keeps it nice and soft. You could also put down first like a brown eyeliner and then go over it with the shadow to soften it out, and that will deepen the look. But since I want to keep this nice and soft and simple for you guys, I'm just gonna do this. And I do this a lot, and it's really fast. And if you're new to this, yes, it might take you a little bit of time, but once you do it a couple times, you'll get the hang of it. Okay, and then I'm just gonna deepen it a little bit more at the lash line here, just to make sure that's nice and dark. And what I like to do is just go halfway in. So the eyeliner is just going from the outer part to just about the very top of the eye. That just keeps it nice and soft. You don't have to worry about it getting wonky on the inner part of your eye. It keeps your eye nice and bright because you can still see so much of the lightness. Okay, so I'm gonna go back with my pencil brush that I was using before, top off all that extra. And I did get a little on there, but I'm just gonna blend this out a little more. Blending is key to keeping this look nice and soft and even. So I'm just gonna blend that out. And this side already has plenty of color, so I'm just gonna blend that out some more. If it gets kind of wonky, you can see where the brown kind of came down further on the eyelid. You can just go back over that with the champagne color. And then I will go ahead and blend that out a little more. And you can start doing this with much lighter colors just while you're getting used to it. That would be a really good way to kind of practice. I'm going to deepen this up a little bit. Getting a little bit of fallout. I did not bring a big fluffy brush down, so I'm just going to use my hand. You gotta be really gentle so it doesn't like smudge. Okay, and then let's see, if you want to, well, let me first go back over with the champagne color just to brighten that back up. Just like that. Get that nice and bright. Now, if you want to, you can highlight underneath your brow bone to like brighten your eyes a little bit more. You could use a frosty color, so you could totally use the champagne color if you want, or you could use a more matte color. So back in the NYX contour palette, this color here is a matte highlighting color. So I think I'm going to use that today. You can use your finger, you can use a brush. I think today though, since I have this right here, I'm just going to use this sponge applicator with the champagne on it. So yes, it's going to have a little bit of that champagne underneath it, but that's okay. I don't mind if a little bit of the sparkle shows up. I just didn't want it to be too sparkly. So you just do this underneath the brow bone. I tend to keep it focused in the center and the tail end. I don't always go all the way in. Sometimes I will if I want a more dramatic look, but if you want to keep it on the softer side, then just do maybe the outer portion. And then again, if you want, you can go back and blend just where the light highlighting color meets the transition color there. And then you're basically done. Now you just want to do mascara. So this is L'Oreal, the Voluminous Butterfly mascara. I really love this wand. I don't know if you can see that, but they're kind of shorter towards the tip, and then they get a little like curved and a little bit longer towards the inner part of it. And that for me helps to, oh, there's something on my eye right there, open up my eyes more. And I've never done this on camera. I'm so sorry if I make funky faces. But if you wanted to, you could totally do eyeliner, like liquid liner, and do a soft wing. But this is just a quick, I just wanted this to be a quick and easy smoky eye that's more simple for people to do in case they're beginners or they just don't know how to do a non-crazy extreme smoky eye. This is a very easy way to do a soft one. So, oh, another thing I totally forgot, and this is optional too, is you could line your bottom waterline with a light color just to open up your eye a little more. I have one here. I can do it real quick to show you. White is really popular, or if you're afraid the white's going to be too much, you could do a really nude color. So this is the Rimmel, what is it? Scandalized Waterproof Kohl in nude. And you just, what I'll do is I'll pull my bottom eyelid out, and then I just draw on it very lightly, and it just brightens it up. When you pull it out like this, it's easier to get the whole waterline, and it keeps you from getting it on your eyelashes. White is obviously a little bit brighter, so it would make a little bit more of an impact. But if you're trying to keep it much more natural, especially if this is very new for you and you don't want to look too unlike yourself, too different at first, because that can shock people. Like, it might look really pretty, but because it's so different than what they're used to, it kind of makes them uncomfortable, or they don't like it as much. So do your bottom lashes. Now, if you're going out and you want to get fancy, you can completely use false eyelashes on top of this as well. If you want to do false eyelashes, but you don't want it to be too extreme, just do the little, are they called wispies? I can't think of the name, but they're really short, and they basically go just on the outer portion of your eye and make them just a little longer, a little more cat eye, a little more open. And that's a really discreet way of using lashes, especially if you're a beginner, because you just stick them on the outside. You don't have to worry about getting them on the inside, which is a little bit harder for most people, even me. And I've used lashes plenty of times. But this is the look. I hope you like it. It's pretty simple. If you're new, just keep practicing. Practice maybe when you don't have somewhere to be right after your makeup, in case you're not liking it or you're having a hard time. Just do it when you don't have anywhere to go right away, in case you need to tweak with it or wash it off. If you have any questions, let me know. Please like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.